Ladies and folks, welcome to the Culture Casino.
Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome to Culture Casino's Culture Review. That's right. This is the Sunday program where we talk about the happenings of the week. And I'm glad you're all here today. And we're going to go ahead and bring in our panelists. And our first one here is the Merosphere's Origins. Hey, what's going on?
Hello, everyone. How you doing?
All right. Hey. And our next friend here is Wes Moody from the Wes Moody Webcast. Hey, Wes, how's it going, buddy?
It's going great. Hello, my friends.
All right. Fantastic. And next to last here is the lovely AFK Bard. How's it going? All right. Oh, muted. That's all right. You're good. Okay. And finally, the one and the only, the most famous and the greatest of the, I guess, publicists for the Fandom Menace, the author, Stephen Walton. Hey, Stephen, how's it going, buddy?
I'm doing pretty well. Happy Sunday, everybody. I don't know about the great itchy bot that may have that title.
Oh, I don't know, sir. Your epic video rant, that John Talks edited for us this last week was one for the ages, my friend.
Yeah, John did a great job, man. That was really cool.
It's a heck of a way to get some promotion, and it's something to rewatch and enjoy if you're feeling if you're feeling any question about why we do this. So it's fantastic. All right. Well, we have some ideas of where we're going with the show this morning, and the first thing I want to bring up is the subject matter that we had a little bit in the pre-show, and that is we're going to talk a little bit about the fact that the Walt Disney Company has finally been able to open their first domestic parks here in the States. They're able to open up Walt Disney World, which is going to be great for Central Florida since they're one of the three top employers in the state. I mean, they're really, really important as far as the economy goes. And it's also going to allow some people to have an escape. So I think I want to put it to you guys, what do you think about this? Is this a positive thing? Should we believe what the mainstream media is telling us about it and think that it's somehow negative? I mean, I'd like to get your feedback. I think it's great, but that's my opinion, and I'll expound on it later because, of course, I'll be going here next week. But I tell you what, let's start with the Merosphere Origins and see. So, what do you think about this?
For all the people that work who need it, it's great because a lot of those people need the job for it to open up. That's good for them. It'll be good for the economy. They have it restart. Money will start flowing back in. Other than that, yeah. Okay. All
right. So you're positive. You feel like it's a good thing. So where are you at, my friend?
I think it's a good thing. I think that it's a very large part of the economy there in Florida, and it is the happiest place on earth, and we could certainly use some happiness right now. So I'm going to say it's a good thing.
Okay. All right. Well, that's positive. I feel really good about that. AFK Bard, let's have you fire off. Where are you at with this? Are you in a position to tell us?
I would say that it's morally and not morally, for morale, and economically both good. I'm just concerned with the fluxes because no matter how much the media wanted to deny it, there were huge fluxes after the rioting. And granted, they weren't taking social distance seriously. But I guess I'm more tentative to wait and see. But I mean, generally speaking, I'd say that everybody who wants to go, that's great that they can go. I'm just kind of concerned about, the after effects of that. But since you don't know, it's like you can't really plan that out. So I'm like, go for it. Just be very safe, because seriously, to this day, you don't know, even no matter how hard you try, how many times you subconsciously touch your face and your eyes and even run your hand through your hair. And in your phone, I bet you don't really clean your phone very often either when you're out, So just be careful, especially with all the extra stuff you're touching out there.
Oh, I know. I'm looking forward to it. And anybody else? Well, I tell you what. Let's get Stevens, and then we'll just go for it. We'll just have a general conversation. Steven, what do you think about the relaunch of the theme park industry in Florida?
Well, I think it generates a lot of revenue and attention for different people's magazines, entertainment companies that cover those kinds of things. Park Hopping, for instance, YouTube channel Park Hopping, run by Drunk 3PO. Go check them out if you have not. Also, I think about the workers there. All of the different people in the different departments and maintenance crews and actors. I'm glad to see them getting back to work in some capacity. It definitely it's good for the economy overall. For people that still want to frequent Disney parks, it's good for them to be able to go and you have people that buy season passes, you have people that invest a lot of way too much money in going to a theme park, in my opinion, but still they do it if they can. So I'm glad to see they have their escapism. Again, for all my problems with Disney, I try to think about the people on the ground, the people that are working at these places. They employ thousands of people. So I'm happy for them.
Yeah. I think it's going to help out the folks that truly need it right now. Those that have been unemployed for months on end. At a certain point, your unemployment ends, guys. That's not an infinite paycheck. And there's, and sometimes unemployment doesn't go all the way. I mean, for some people, unemployment, was a boon but for many, it was just a slower way to go completely broke. So it's, I think that's part of the equation here. But you know what? I'll throw it out there. Let's have just a general discussion while I go through some of the chat here and highlight some of these messages. So, I mean, anybody have some thoughts that maybe aren't so positive, maybe more gloomy?
I think it's all about personal responsibility, and I trust free people to make the right decisions so they can assume the risk if they want to go to the theme park. Now, obviously, Disney World, they're going to be having protocols in effect for keeping the rides clean and the premises clean. So I say, have at it. Assume the risk. Be careful. Be responsible. But, it's your comfort level as to what your risk, what risk you're comfortable with.
I would say if you wanted to go into the not so positive stuff, there are quite a few employees in Florida who are raising quite the stir with the fact that they don't want to go back and they don't think it's safe yet. And so there are quite a lot of employees who aren't as excited to go back, and they feel like they're being forced to, because if they don't, they're gonna, obviously lose their jobs and stuff like that. So, I mean, there's that. I won't argue, how fair or not it is, but.
Well, it's funny because I in a lot of ways I agree with Wes to a certain extent. That people have to exercise their own judgment and take their own personal freedom and their own personal safety into account. I think that here's the thing: when it comes to safety, you're never safe. Because we all live in an illusion of safety all the time. We've seen people, have mobs approach their house, tear down their gates, attack that. We've seen people attack government buildings.
On that? Do you see the new update to that? I live in Missouri, so I got an update to that for later.
Okay, all right. We'll jump back there when we get to a little bit more dismal stuff, but.
I think we're trying to avoid the dismal on this one, right?
Yeah, we are. If we end up back there, we'll end up back there. But I think that we're never safe. I think you get in your car and you're not safe. You can put on your PPE in when you're driving a car. In that sense, wearing a seatbelt is your PPE in your car, right? So in defensive driving, I mean, you're taking personal responsibility when you're operating a motor vehicle, which, is that's a lot of responsibility most people take for granted.
I feel like it's not quite the right analogy though, because when it comes to this, that it's more the equivalent of there's invisible cars on the freeway that you can't see. Because it's you're not going out and you can't see what you're have to deal with, and cars aren't necessarily contagious, and they don't just show up. I feel like there's other analogies for it, but I understand what you're trying to say as far as
Yeah. Well,
crap happens. But
it's
the
it's not
analogy-
perfect.
You know
Yeah.
it's out there, though. You know it's out. You
Yeah.
don't know where it
Yeah.
is, but you do know that it is out there. Yes.
It is out there because the news media, who's been lying to us for about how many years, tells us it's out there. It's out there because the government tells us it's out there and all that. I'm more of a, I'm a person. Look, I was waiting after all the riots and all of this. I'm waiting for the mass people to start dropping, and haven't seen it. So.
There are hospitals that are overloaded in places.
Well, when they're
because
not
of this.
making TikTok videos, all doing line dances and stuff, yeah, I guess.
Mhm. And I gotta say that I do work with hospitals, a network of them across the United States, and there is a very substantial uptick in the intake for them. So it's
Yeah,
not
absolutely.
happening.
Yeah.
There's still very severe places where it is a problem.
I
Yeah.
personally know of two people, one of whom, was my stepmother, and another, she did have pre-existing conditions. And then a friend of mine, his father just passed from it. So
Right.
also pre-existing conditions, just full disclosure, but it is out there, and it is killing people.
Right. You also had Stig Kenobi, who had it when all this first dropped, and he was quarantined for 2 weeks, and he was fine. He was okay afterwards. And I do have a friend that's an EMT that is very adamant about the social distancing and the protective gear and all that. So. I'm not dismissing it entirely. I just don't think that it is a pandemic. I don't think it is what the media has made it out to be.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
So with all,
For those of us that are, sorry, CC, go ahead.
no, please go.
I was just going to say, for people like me that are germaphobes and never touch handles and always turn around with my back anyway, there's really no change.
Dig it.
Yeah, and I don't know that it's going to affect my plane travel, aside from the fact that I'll be wearing an N95 mask when I'm on the plane and in the airport, and until I get to my hotel, basically. But to me, I've always traveled with gloves. I've always traveled with hand sanitizer. I've always traveled with what do you call them? Handy wipes, whatever they are. They're alcohol wipes that I clean the seatbelt and the armrests, and I clean the tray table, and I clean the window thing. And I'm a freak show because I don't want to get sick, because the last thing you want to do on vacation is get ill, right?
Right,
So,
right.
And even especially if you're traveling on business, you have business to do when you get to some place. If you're trying to represent a company, you don't want to be doing so when you're, sniffling and sneezing. On
Right.
people. It just doesn't work.
Yeah, culture. I
So-
mean, you always take preemptive steps, right? Because anything a stomach bug can hit you. I understand that.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And hey, memes, it's you always take, again, this comes back to personal responsibility, but and I guess we got off to the wrong direction, because we're all going to kind of have our feelings about what the influence is here about the parks reopening, what caused them to close in the first place. But to me, the opportunity to fix some of the economy, at least in Florida, where they were having an uptick in cases anyway. And by the way, Disney is one of the last theme parks to open, by the way, in the United States. I mean, Universal opened ahead of them, several other, and Disney's experiment was opening the Disney Springs Mall area that used to be downtown Disney. If you guys are familiar with Florida, that was their initial foray into this, to see if they could manage that, manage the employees, and manage the traffic. I mean, if you're looking for a master in crowd control, you could look no further than the Disney company. I mean, they really know how to do it well. There were only a couple of photographic examples in the last couple of days that showed that maybe they didn't have it completely dialed in. So go ahead.
I was going to say, on the Park Hopping channel, when 3PO and then we're going through there, you could see they have bookmark prints all over the place, which is very smart. I honestly would never have thought of that, and I know smaller places probably won't do it, but I mean, it gives you the perfect idea of where you can stand to just loiter if you need to. I mean, they do seem very safe, and as in regards to that, because also they have such a responsibility compared to other places because of just the sheer size of it, and the point that they're promising that it's going to be safe. So their liability is way up there,
Agreed. Yeah.
Yeah, I think you're right. In Memes points something out here. Disney Springs has a lot of outdoor space, and actually, the Disney parks in Florida, they're enormous compared to California. I mean, the sheer acreage, the volume, the space, the some ridiculous amount of square miles, 43 square miles or whatever it is of the park area. It's massive, and most of that's outdoors. I mean, you do have the indoor queue areas because it does get hot there in the summertime, but there is an opportunity to get far away from. Hey, Mando, there is an opportunity to get far away from other people outside and to get sunshine and to get exercise and to bolster your immune system because you're doing all those things unless you get too run down. So that's an excellent point there.
Mhm.
So. Stephen, beyond the economic impact, what are some other important things that people need, that this might afford them an opportunity to get, being able to go to a theme park again?
The chance to get outside. First off, I think the quarantine has really exacerbated a lot of fears that people have, especially while we're being inundated with news stories that are not really projecting news, but so much a narrative. About division in this country, something that entertainments have been doing for years, why I'm writing a book. And I think that it's good. It's also good for people to get back and start hanging out with one another, start interacting with each other. This country is not as bad. The United States is nowhere near as bad as a lot of media outlets try and project it as. I go around the corner to a store every day. I live in a very mixed neighborhood, man. We've got Mexicans, black people, mulatto, foreigners, a lot of different people in my neighborhood, and we're still holding the door for one another. We're still, showing appreciation to each other. We're not, beating each other down, and that's because we're interacting with one another. And I think that that's another aspect. You get the kids out there around other kids of other colors, where the kids don't see those types of things. Get the families back out there interacting with one another, having a good time, having a good experience with each other. Get back to those values and those principles and those outlooks that we have as the melting pot of the United States. Just having a good time and celebrating the things that we love. I think that's a very positive thing for especially right now during these times where you have people taking advantage of this virus and the insecurities of others to create chaos and division. Yeah.
No, you're right, and that's the best way to put it. You did exactly what I was hoping for. We need stuff like that, guys. We need the positive human interaction right now. We're being told a message that feeds directly against that. I think Mirrorsphere, you haven't said a whole lot. Let's get your take on that.
Pretty much. I think it's just a couple major cities that's having most of the problems. The rest of the country's fine.
Yeah.
But I think it'll calm down soon.
There was a map that I remember seeing where it was globally, like it showed like all the hot spots, and like it almost completely just stops at our border to Canada. And I felt like that was kind of embarrassing. Like they've got a couple spots, but like ours looks like it's like way bad chicken pox, like to the border, like right, like a rash. So I was like, I can say that, I mean, like it looks pretty bad as far as that goes, but I guess as far as like the mass, like the generality of it,
it does look bad, and it looks bad because guess what, guys? As far as the rest of the world, we have tested a greater percentage of our population than any other country in the entire planet.
China hasn't told us crap, so
yeah. So it's we're gonna recognize more cases because we're going to have tested more people. We're going to, I mean, it comes down to math, and AFK and I were on a regular stream for many weeks in a row when this thing first started to hit our shores, where I broke down, using the available tools out there, mathematically where things were coming from, why it was happening, et cetera, et cetera. And the problem was early on, we couldn't test the people that we maybe needed to test back then. Now we're more than capable of testing everyone, which is what's happening. So it's inflate. Go ahead, please.
It's the same situation we had with the HIV. where they had to use an alternative test to detect it in people. That was only 70% effective. So, I'm glad that there is an increase in the ability to detect this, but it's only been how many months, and medical science can only progress so fast. So
yeah,
it's one of those things where, hey, if a year from now I look back and when the methods have been perfected and we have a better idea of what's going on, and I feel different, and through the data I feel differently then than I do now, then it is what it is. But and as far as Canada, you talk to people like Script Doctor or Raquel over there at Orville Nation. They have not only is their population much less than ours, but they've been taking more serious steps in the United States, more preventive measures than we have been able to.
Yeah, and you mentioned Stieg earlier. I mean, his country is now pretty much cleansed of this problem. And then you have New Zealand, which is now starting to open for business as far as movie and television production, right? By the way, you guys just watch me touch my face. You do it more often than you think you do.
Yes, you do.
So
yeah. AFK was right. How often do you clean your phone? Like this.
Well, I do it daily. I do it multiple times a day. I have these Zeiss wipes that I use for cleaning my camera lenses, my glasses, and my phone. So whenever I open one of those, I clean all of the surfaces that, like that.
Because I'm dirty right now.
I'm a freak show, dude. I'm a freak. I'm a weird. You're a weird one, Mr. Grinch.
Since Afghanistan, so I'm pretty much immune to anything by now. So
I'll never forget. I was leaving the convenience store. This is before all this stuff started, and the door started to close, and I opened it with my foot, and like one of the bums outside really got offended. Oh, ain't too good to touch the door, huh? Like,
wow.
No,
well, look, I mean,
too good to get germs. Yeah,
right. Well, it's common sense. I mean, especially right now, I'm glad more people are paying more attention to germs that can cause you harm. Because of all the information or rhetoric or however you look at it being put out right now. But I see, this is something that really everybody should have been paying attention to before. So I don't know. A bum giving you shit about being dirty.
Yeah,
that's
right. Yeah. Being stuck up for not wanting to touch the door because some dirty ass bum was touching the door. I mean, come on. I do that. Even if there's not a dirty ass bum, I don't touch the doors. I always turn around and open it with my butt. If
Yep. Yeah. I when I'm in and out of a convenience store, my ass gets utilized a lot for opening that door. So I hear you.
We have very talented asses on this panel.
Ryan.
Big talented asses right here. So yeah. All right. Well, I just want to acknowledge that Mr. Ryan Cannell has graced us with his presence. Everybody say hi, Ryan.
Hi, Ryan.
Hi, Ryan.
I agree with him though. He's like, just give it to me. I'm like, hey, you know how they get us ready for Afghanistan? They give us like every virus ever known to man. I had gotten smallpox. I've gotten some things they don't even know what they gave me. Like I literally would walk into the office and Doc go like, all right, roll up your arm, roll up your sleeve. I'm like, what's this? He's like, I don't know. I'm like,
man, they gave you the T virus.
Oh yeah.
Mando, I'm sorry, buddy.
I just affect everyone. Just let it go.
But you got inoculated for a bunch of stuff, man. They were trying to make you like not get some of the evil crap that you can get when you travel the world. Because I mean, when you travel to go someplace, there might be travel advisories that tell you you got to be inoculated for these things, or you could be getting them.
These are the growing pains of globalization.
Definitely.
Yeah, for sure. And I want to apologize, Mando. No, there is not much to talk about as far as gaming news, and you guys are going to go to town on that on Thursday. So, but man, you're welcome here anytime. So I will. I'll make sure that the next time we do a live culture review, I will have you on, buddy, because you're fun to talk about the gaming stuff in particular. So yeah, man.
Hail Mando.
Hail Mando.
Yeah. Hey, Ryan's clapping at us, guys. He loves us. Ryan loves us.
I think he's waving at us. Is what he's doing.
Or is he saying I have the clap?
Yeah, it looks different in StreamYard.
I have the clap. Okay, all right. Maybe that's it. No, I don't think that's it. Ryan's a good guy. Why did you do that? Steven, you're a big meanie.
Well, you definitely don't want that. You definitely don't.
No, no. Hey, guys, if you aren't subbed to Ryan Cannell at RK Outpost, which I know almost everybody here has to be because, you know, the guy's growing by leaps and bounds. Have you seen how fast Ryan's channel's just been exploding? Gosh, and he's right on top of some of the stuff, especially with the Naughty Dog stuff. And I'm not sporting my sweatshirt because it's like 11,000 degrees where I live, but you know, I cannot wait to sport my my F Naughty Dog sweatshirt here this winter. So
It's at the top of my merch list.
I know that we
There you
don't.
go.
I'd use profanity on your stream, CC, but I'm going to say F Naughty Dog.
That's right. Yeah, you could actually do it. We're 25 minutes into the live stream, so I might still someday get monetized and be able to eat. So we'll see.
That'd be nice. That'd be nice. Yeah, get some ramen. Yeah.
There you go. Yep. Oh, hey, Tommy's promoting Steven's book. Look at this, guys.
I love you, Tommy. Thanks, man.
Yeah.
Can't wait to get it.
Yeah.
That's kind of a
wow,
crappy
look at-
title, if you ask me.
Yeah, thanks, Bart.
Yeah. Well, that was the newer title, you know, from the new marketing team, you know.
Oh, Mando's
Well,
right,
there's-
guys. The other day, I was checking out Culture's channel, and I was unsubbed. So that is a thing. I know Doomcock and Gary, and a lot of people talk about it. That is a thing. Please make sure you're still subscribed to your favorite YouTubers. Thank you.
Well,
I'm getting ghosted by Doomcock for almost more than a month now. Like his things just never show up for me.
Wow.
Yeah, he's getting ghosted. I mean, our buddy Tommy here, he doesn't appear in the chats. He will literally send me screenshots in Twitter, like by DM, of him talking to me in a chat in a channel, and it doesn't show up. There's some weird
noticed
stuff
that.
going on.
I
Yeah.
noticed that. I was in a chat the other night, but I thought it was the whatever they were using because you could see the comments going up on their screen as well as YouTube. And like a couple of things I said never showed up, and I thought it was like a glitch, but
Nope.
thanks, YouTube.
Yeah, it's happening, and I Wookie's actually here today, and six Wookiees in a I always want to say in a duffel bag, but anyway, yeah, because that movie still sticks in my head. You know, the 8 heads in a duffel bag movie still up there. But anyway, yeah. So Wookie's been upsubbed from my channel at least 3 times, I guess, so far. So it's
man.
happening, guys. Anyway, sorry, like, way off tangent. So look, all I can say is I think it's a positive thing. I think it gets us back to an old normal, because the new normal baloney crap that they're trying to sell to everybody, I want no part of. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you still need to take the personal responsibility of taking care of yourself in every single way, especially if you're immunocompromised or something like that. But
Yes,
we have to get back to a normal. We have
Absolutely.
to get back to it.
Absolutely. Wash your hands. Wash your ass.
Yeah. Look, Scott is telling us that four of you are amazing. Well, Scott, someday I hope you'll think I'm amazing, because I think the other folks here, the other 4 people on here are amazing, and that includes my good friend, author Stephen Walton.
Thank you, buddy. Thank you.
You betcha.
Scott is upset because he has a small member, and that's what it is. And we have to really stand with Scott
But his
because
channel's growing, so I look forward
Unlike
to him having more members,
yes.
lots
Yes.
of members.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, Ryan Cannell, Doomcock is ghosting AFK. How dare he? I agree, but I think it's the reverse. I think what's happening is AFK is not seeing our friend Doomcock, and that's a bad thing.
That's true.
No,
Sorry.
he knows. He's just teased. Wow, look at this. I have to resubscribe to Mark Dice every day. Holy
Wow.
Honestly, I've stayed subscribed to Mark Dice, so I've not been unstuck yet.
Well, wow, man, Apollo Patriot's really on this right now. He is changing the way he's doing his gaming stuff. He is converting everybody over. So and of course he just talked about the G&G website, which I am a member of. I think everybody should take an opportunity to not be censored in anything that they say and join the G&G site. You know, even if you're not a premium member, join it, you know, participate in the forums and check it out, because it's really good. They did a really nice job designing it. I like it a lot.
It's important. That's one of the reasons why I like one of the reasons I'm a fan of Jeremy is because everybody has the right to an opinion, and he invites that. And people that work on his team don't agree with him. You know, it completely goes against the narrative of all of us being bigots. that gets thrown at us. Everyone has the right to an opinion, even if your opinion is shite. I want you front and center, so I know you have a shite opinion.
Right. That's what I always said. Like, why are you trying to silence people who are
Right.
actual, this way? I'd rather know who they are.
Right. And no one should be censored. No one.
Nobody. You know what? I just realized something. This can't possibly be true. Tommy's a wrench, right? Can you guys see Tommy's a wrench? Tommy's a wrench.
Yeah, he's wrenched as far as I can see.
All right, okay. Man, StreamYard's doing weird stuff on my side, guys, so I apologize. All right, so hey, Latino Slant, how's it going? Yeah, check out GOG.com too. Yeah, thank you, Mando.
All right.
Yeah. All right. So let's move along. We have something else to talk about. This will probably eat up the rest of the time that we set aside today.
Oh boy, yes it will.
Hey, does anybody want to throw that screen share together? You want to do that, Wes, real quick?
Okay. Yeah, I guess I'll be the one.
Yeah.
I don't know. You might end up with Michelle Lowe. Watch out.
We'll see.
Dude, I'm still affected by that. Damn, Wes.
I know.
Wes is good at stuff like that. Sabotage.
Yeah, drive-by roll of quartering. Absolutely.
Oh, boy. All right, guys. What we want to talk about today is something that I think all of you will be interested in. They finally dropped the trailer for something special today, right, Wes?
If by special you mean, short bus special, maybe.
All right, here we go, Wes. You lead this puppy into the home stretch. Here we are.
We're gonna react live to it.
436.2.
Oh,
First
no.
contact is a delicate, high-stakes operation of diplomacy. One must be ready for anything.
Are you pretending to do a captain's log?
Uh,
Supposed to keep logs.
Okay, let me listen to it.
No, go away. Leave me
I
alone.
can't believe you're
No.
wasting your
Uh.
time on this. Whoa. This is the greatest ship I've ever seen! Hey, green girl! Hold this! Don't pass out. Sorry.
what?
I'm good at exploring strange new worlds and solving space mysteries. Let's see what I got assigned. That waste removal. That's Klingon prison stuff.
Ensign, do you see a captain's chair in your future?
I hope so, ma'am. Hey, if I part my hair like this, do I look more promotable or less?
The Cerritos might be falling apart, but that's our job to keep it together.
You are a natural born warrior.
Okie dokie.
And we're here?
No, we're actually way down here.
Keep it moving, lower decks.
Next.
My senior staff are always up for a challenge.
Nothing like a cold beer after a smooth second contact.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
It is better down here.
They're trying to be like South Park or something.
We're gonna search side by side. An elite team. We're not really elite. We're more like the cool, scrappy underdogs.
Was that a zombie thing?
Yes.
We are so getting fired for this.
Attention all decks! Lives are at stake, but our crew is ready and focused.
Ooh, this is the new shuttle with the blast shield. The blast
Stop it.
shield.
No.
And it comes down and it goes up. Blast shield. We live on a spaceship. Nobody is dying from a spear wound. Hang in there. You got this.
Have you noticed how often there's a lack of dress on some of the characters?
Long-range sensors have located a very sexy.
Oh, no. Definitely.
Like that?
Oh, there's some lack of right there. Oh no.
Calm down. It's set to. It was.
They're trying to be the new Futurama. Is this what this is?
Okay.
No.
Okay. That was Star Trek, guys. How does your Star Trek look? Anybody have some thoughts on that?
It's so sad. There's just so much that happened in that little time, and yet nothing of content. And it's like every single Cartoon Network cartoon thrown into a ball with sugar.
All right. Well,
You know what's sad? This looks better than Star Trek Discovery. And
Yeah, I'm good with that.
oh, damn it, I cussed. Okay. I mean, shoot, darn it, I cussed.
okay. Yeah, McKinney 90. I was about to bring that up. Okay. If I want to watch Rick and Morty, I'll watch Rick and Morty. Now, if we had gotten decent Star Trek from CBS All Access, I'd probably be more into this because it is kind of a parody, and I do like parodies. I will check it out. I will say for myself, I'm not going to hate something just for the sake of hating it, so I will check it out. But the problem here is you're introducing this parody of Trek, really, with the Star Trek moniker after giving us Picard and Discovery, which were awful. So it's not really helping. And so, like I said, if CBS All Access had produced Star Trek that was honoring the legacy and lore that came, but the creativity that came before it, then I'd be like, all right, cool. I want to check this out. Something funny, something different. But I'm less enthusiastic because we haven't gotten any real Star Trek since the 2000s.
I have to second that. Absolutely. I would have been much more open-minded to it, to have like a fun, stripped down kiddie version of Trek. If we had gotten actual real good Trek.
Right. Because at this point, it just feels like another insult.
It does. It's just like
the Orville was just a joke Trek.
So yeah, exactly. So here, just to add what Steven was saying, it feels like, okay, we gave you really bad Trek, not Trek, fake Trek. And now finally we're going to give you something that at least kind of has the look of the next generation, but it's going to be dumb and have like fart jokes and stuff.
It might be funny. I mean, but
sorry, look, I'll go ahead, FK, and then I'll fire off because I have a couple thoughts.
I was just going to say, it's just something like this feels like, well, you mentioned how, you had Discovery and Picard first, and the tone of it is completely like disconnected. And when you introduce a cartoon like this to a show that's pre-existing, you always assume it's a gateway, for like kids, because you introduce these characters that already exist in a world, and they're like introduced to those, and then you tell them, oh, there's a movie or this other thing. And if this had been like Next Generation, there would have been like a more family feeling to it, where you could let your kid watch an episode of whatever the other show is. But there's no way you can. And the personalities of people who probably watch shows like Discovery and Picard probably don't want to watch something that's like ADD, like sugar exploding, like fart joke type things,
Mm-hmm.
So it's like I don't really understand what they're aiming for, because plus, like, who gets CBS just for kid shows? I feel like if they do this, they need to put more out there than just Star Trek, because if they just put one, they're not going to get enough people to watch it in the first place.
This, I think, is going to be on the Cartoon Network.
Well,
it says sci-fi.
That makes so much sense, and it's not much better.
There is an
Didn't
audience.
it say sci-fi?
Hold on. Let me back it up.
There is an audience for this. There is an audience for that type of humor. And I'm in that audience, honestly. Like I said, I'm a fan of Rick and Morty. And my son is as well. So, like, my teenage kid, my 15-year-old, well, I'll probably check it out with him, and give it a shot. I'm going to give it an honest shot. I'm not gonna, like I said, I'm not going to hate just for the sake of hating. My issue is that we have been not only have we been served fake Trek, like Wes said, for years now, we've also have been talked down to by creatives at CBS All Access. So it's hard to embrace something different, even if it is in a genre that I enjoy, because of the treatment of the customer by the creators.
I stand corrected. I guess it will be on CBS All Access. Huh.
Yeah. I knew it was going to be on a more prominent thing. I was thinking sci-fi, but it honestly doesn't matter. I mean, if it shows up on All Access, and that, I don't know that somebody's going to subscribe to the service for this show, like AFK Bard was saying. Mirrorsphere, I'm going to give you a shot before I go bananas.
All right. Well, I'm not a fan of these new art styles. Like, I don't like Rick and Morty. I don't like, because I don't like the art at all. I hate this weird, stupid art. I have Disney Plus for one reason only, so my kids can watch the original X-Men, the original Spider-Man. Those are good. The hell happened to cartoons?
Yeah.
I do jokes and.
I think Thundercats roared it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's as bad as Thundercats roared.
Teen Titans Go. Like, Teen Titans are cool. And then they're like, here's Teen Titans Go. I'm like, no.
Agreed. Agreed.
Dumb.
Okay. So and again, I mean, I don't mind. I mean, Mando brought it up earlier, and of course, go check out Mando's channels. Mando has great content on both channels. Please check it out. He's linked a couple of them here over the last few minutes, and I mean, was this supposed to be a parody? That was the question that he asked, and well, clearly, I mean, and it's in the style of the show, The Final Space. Does that sound right? Does that sound like something? Anyway, and it's it's definitely the Rick and Morty animation style, and it's kind of the I don't know, junior high humor that you expect out of a cartoon like this, or the not quite adult kind of humor, and there's place for that, and I enjoy Beavis and Butthead, which we've all talked about the reboot on different channels this week. I know author Stephen Walton is fond of Beavis and Butthead, and I was too. I love that stuff,
Well, I mean,
but
I'm sorry.
Go ahead. No, please.
I would make an argument actually that Rick and Morty is actually a highbrow humor hidden within high school like humor.
Yeah,
honestly.
Yeah, there's a whole episode where he's avoiding therapy by having a stupid adventure as a pickle. Like the deep part of it was there the whole time, but you get this like ridiculous ninja action.
The absurdity, right.
Yeah, and this is something Kai says that's brilliant. Now, this is the other part of the point I was going to make. Star Trek never looked like this. I mean, you had goofy moments, and especially thanks to JJ, you had extra goofy moments, but you never had. I mean, even Shatner's humor in Star Trek 4, right? The let's go get a whale in a spaceship thing. Even his humor in that was brilliant. I mean, when it was based in the time, but I don't know if I know. I mean, you don't need it delivered in this way. So go ahead, AFK.
I'm just gonna say this goes back to the whole denial that this representation and stuff didn't exist in the past as far as TV shows and go, or finding things that you can relate to, because shows like this existed in the 90s, that early 90s, that everybody could watch, and now they're like, oh no, we need to get kids to have this, and we need to have a show with this for strong women and blah 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 blah. And it's well, didn't you understand that all of those people were watching shows like Star Trek? I mean, you already had that, but now they feel like they have to segregate the almost what was in the first place, and they think that people aren't dumb enough or smart enough to want to see all of it integrated, and that was the whole concept of Star Trek in the first place. So it's just this is, I don't know, I don't understand it at all.
we already have the Orville, and the Orville is a much better. Well, I haven't seen
right?
Well, I think
it's amazing parody.
I think that this was inspired by the Orville, to be honest, because of the humor that the Orville presents, along with that feel of that the next generation era of Star Trek. And like I said, I agree with RR. It's a continuation of degrading Star Trek. It's piling on the humiliation. It feels like it's laughing at Trek fans, not with them, and that feeling comes from the disrespect shown to the customer, the lore, the legacy by these supposed recreators, or as Gary Nerdrotic calls them, repurposers, who don't understand these franchises and choose to push their personal ideologies over creativity for the entire fandom. And that's where that comes from. And as I said before, if we had been given a decent attempt at Star Trek by CBS All Access and the fandoms had not been degraded by the creatives or preached to, then I think that we'd have a different feeling, a different reception for this. We could maybe look at it for the humor that I believe they are trying to present it as, the humorous kind of parody like Star Trek. So I'm going to try and look at it from that lens when I watch it. But, we'll see. We'll see what happens.
I think I see some watch parties and live reactions in our near future, Stephen.
Yeah. I don't have.
Yeah, and I'm going to bring in somebody who has some strong opinions here real quick. It's a buddy to almost everybody here, and of course a buddy to the chat out there. I'm bringing in our pal Shellbach. Hey, what's up, Mr. Shell?
Dude, that Orville cartoon is awesome. What's the name of it?
It is. Dude, you nailed it. But it's not even as good. I mean, Stephen was just talking about it, right? how it's the look and feel of the Orville, but it's not. Where do you
It's
think
the
this
Teen Titan goes to Teen Titans.
You know what? That was actually something that somebody said in the chat too. It is. It's like, yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Oh, dude. I have
Go,
seen just enough. I have seen just enough of Teen Titans Go to it's like,
To go?
It's like Teen Titans Go Star Trek edition. It's but I mean, is this legitimately supposed to be Star Trek? I mean, like of the Star Trek family?
Mhm.
Like seriously?
Supposed to be.
Yeah.
TNG.
No.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
maybe it's a reskin because there's a lot of cartoons that used to be that way where they tried to sell it for something and they wouldn't pick it up, and then they're like, "Oh, well, this is a great idea if you pick it up for this show and just change like the outfits because nothing else about it screams Star Trek."
Well, I mean, because if you want a Star Trek cartoon, they did make one back in the day.
They did in the 70s.
Yeah.
Really liked
So-
Yesteryear. Yesteryear was a good one.
Did a pretty good job with it too, if I remember.
They even had a holodeck.
Oh my!
Mhm.
Did you see what they did to the holodeck in the cartoon? Just anyway, it doesn't matter. And did you see the very bad surgery that was performed in the trailer where they took an organ out of a body, which they didn't.
Right.
They didn't do that
Rick
in
and
Star
Morty
Trek.
humor. That's Rick and Morty humor, is what that is. you
I know.
The idea, like in that holodeck scene where she's taking the whatever exhaust or whatever that is out of it. Like these are kind of funny concepts, I believe, and it would be much more well received if we, like RR was saying, it feels like to a lot of us it feels like another in a continuation of insults to the fandom, to the traditional fandom. So I understand that.
Yeah, and if you look, I mean, Angelus Draven is right. The Orville, for what it is amazing, and it's closer to Star Trek than anything we've gotten from Secret Hideout and J.J. Abrams and that band of thugs. So it's and we're not tearing down these great properties in the Orville. In fact, if anything, even with the humor, that show really conveys more feeling of Star Trek than anything we've seen in a long, long time.
Mm-hmm.
Like the episode in season 1 with Boris and his family and like the baby, like that episode was so intense. I mean, like, and it was such a Next Generation episode where like there's that whole episode where Picard is arguing that Data is like, an independent, like, person with conscience and stuff. It was like that for the Orville. And it's just like, how can a show start with a poop joke and end with you crying? And that's literally how the Orville works for me. Like, I will laugh at the stupidity at the beginning, but by the end, I'm like, oh my God, that was so profound, So we need more of that.
Yeah, like the episode of when Bortus had his porn addiction, and they had to rescue, and they had to rescue the people from the planet, and they couldn't take them all, and so he's like, pick who goes. That was good stuff, man. That was great balance of the lightheartedness with the seriousness of the situation. That was brilliant.
So
Okay,
this cartoon.
Go ahead, Shell.
This cartoon, right? I mean, this is all I've ever seen of it, but I'll have to give them credit for this. It was not as insulting as those Star Trek animated shorts, where like Leia kicks freaking Chewie in the balls, and
you mean the new ones? Yeah.
No, those were ridiculous.
Yeah.
Or the short treks, the one where they had Wally World or whatever going on.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah. Let's not. Those don't exist in my world, just so you know. All right. So the point that Mando is making here in the statement I've outlined, I'll read. I'm going to make one of my famous Cast in the Shadows predictions here. By the way, that's one of his channels, which is awesome. Go and subscribe if you're not already. Fans will watch this series. It won't be good. And then the fandom / customers will be attacked for that. Dude, absolutely. It's the playbook. Steven, what do you think? Mando's right?
I believe Mando is correct. I think there's going to be a segment of the fandom, though, that's going to cross over between the legacy fans and those that enjoy this type of humor. I think there will be a legitimate fan base for this show, but it's going to be the minority. And like I said, I think that the vast majority of the traditional fans are going to view this as an insult. And then yeah, I mean, we've seen how creatives deal with criticism right now, but as we're going through this this virus that's affected everyone and has shut down a lot of productions and different aspects of the entertainment industry that had once been very emboldened to attack the customer and present us with, you know, their personal ideologies instead of creativities, we might get a different reaction. Who knows? We'll see. I'm hoping against hope that somebody in creative control will realize that the customer needs to be respected and won't set about attacking the fandom.
Yeah. I think we'll have some recovery, but I think we're a little ways away. What do you think, Wes?
Yeah, I think there will be some crossover appeal. I mean, I think you'll probably get those Rick and Morty fans, and I think that I think it's going to be more successful than Discovery and Picard. If I'm to venture a
those
prediction,
aren't high bars. That's not high bars, no, man.
Well, I mean, we haven't seen the numbers according to CBS All Access. They've been phenomenally successful. But they're not high bars, but I do think it'll be more successful, if anything, just because the look looks a little bit more like TNG. So I don't know. I mean, maybe we'll see a severed baby Klingon head. Or
Wes, it's been so successful they can't sell merchandise. That's how successful it's been.
It's been so successful that they had to rebrand CBS All Access to something new, which is coming up, kids. So stand by.
The Doomcock or the Peacock? That's right. Is that what it's going to be?
Nice.
Or is that another?
What do you got? What's Shellbach holding up? I can't read. I'm 152 years old. Waltons?
Yeah, he's drinking Waltons.
Oh, wow. I don't know that I would drink that, Shell. That's for something different, buddy. My goodness.
Oh, Lord.
That's part of the marketing team for Arthur Stephen Walton. So the author has a very active marketing team that's promoting all of his product line.
Nice.
There you go. Good job, Stephen. Hey, buddy, you're wearing a shirt. Thanks for putting on a shirt. Yeah. I got an opportunity to see the Gilkman's birthday stream replay from the Memes of Destruction. Hey, Memes, I know you're out there, buddy. That was great. Not exactly what I needed this morning, but that's very fun to watch. If you guys haven't seen that video of Thomas Gilkey's birthday clip, it's if you're looking for memories, there's a whole lot of
Memes is the one who started all that.
He's a brilliant man. Memes is a brilliant man. Often very wrong, but a brilliant man. Yeah. So, and Justin comes in, he drops some insight and runs away. He says the Orville is a gateway for normies to get into Star Trek. 100% right. 100% right. If nobody had seen Star Trek before and you showed them the Orville and then you reintroduced them to TNG or something like that, yes.
Mm-hmm.
TNG had some amazing episodes.
Yeah, I encourage anybody to try out the Orville. Just keep in mind, even my point of view or like my experiences, like the first couple episodes are kind of rough and they don't quite find their voice yet. But if you can make it through, I think like it was the fourth episode, like really slams it into like kind of like what the show's going to be about. So just give it like a chance. Don't just give up on it.
I was only able to watch like the first one or two episodes of the Orville, and then I kind of lost my television access. But
if anything, watch the porn one, the porn episode. The board is, oh my god, it is so weird, androgynous, gay, and wrong. It's beautiful.
Yeah, I didn't bring up. Somebody else brought up Thundercats Roar in comparison to it. That was the biggest middle finger I think I've ever seen. The guy that put that together was so disingenuous with his early presentation to the fandom. If you go back and watch the videos, it was disgusting. Maybe these people are trying to do something right by Star Trek, but I didn't see it in the trailer. Maybe the trailer is just a very bad trailer. Because that happens, just like, there's a test audience for a movie. Sure. That's something Tom and I talk about from Midnight's Edge all the time, is sometimes a test audience is going to get the movie wrong. They're going to help to get the movie wrong.
Yeah.
I think for what they were trying to project, for what they were trying to present, I think the trailer was good representation of what they're trying to advertise this series as.
Yeah, I can imagine that every single episode looks exactly like what was in the trailer.
Yeah. That would agree.
You know, you brought up TNG, right? TNG got me through the 90s. I don't know about anybody else, but you know, for my sci-fi fix, you know, for that entire decade, you know, it was TNG. And I'm glad that I didn't spend, you know, or even try to spend the money for CBS All Access to watch Picard. I mean, I saw the first episode because they aired it on YouTube for free.
Yep.
But hearing what I've heard about Picard, I would have been screaming at the screen going, "That's not him!" You know, because you know, going from it's like freaking TOJ, you know,
Skywalker.
Don't call me Luke. I'm really Jake Skywalker.
Yep.
Yep.
You know, it's like that character from the original would not have. I don't care what you say. Would not have ended up like that. You know, it's just.
Yeah, there's all kinds of bad going on in Picard. Where to even begin with it? Well, you know, for all of their, you know, wanting to have a diverse cast and stuff like that, they made Rafi a crackhead, and the worst kind of stereotype you could possibly imagine.
That's true. Well, that and every single woman that they wanted to represent as a strong, independent woman was a flaming bitch. Like, I talk about insult. Like, I couldn't like a single woman character in there. The only difference between the personalities being that the main girl had no personality. So like I couldn't even relate to her. So I don't know. It just angered me that all of the representation, they weren't thinking. They were like, let's put this actor on screen to check that off, but we're not going to pay attention to what kind of character we're giving them and how bad this is going to look. You know, there was no self-awareness when they did that.
Well, give me more Narissa and Sutra. They can talk down to me any day. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, Steven's simping on my show, guys. Steven is simping on my show.
Yeah, I was going to say to add to what AFK Bard was saying, they made the female characters like, you know, not only strong, but super strong, like, you know, brutal, murdering, you know, unrepentant killers, you know, and then, you know, they did make Data's slut daughters progressively sluttier as things went along. So when the fourth daughter shows up, I was talking with Steven last night, she's going to be the sluttiest one of all.
Looking forward to it.
Yes.
Look, if they actually make the effort to making a season 2, if they go through the pantomime of doing that, that is the definition of throwing good money after bad.
It depends on how they approach it. Like if they get creatives in there that aren't repurposing, that are actually creating and try to repair what has been done, then there's hope. Because as I was saying last night on Bear's channel, we live stream with Wes. You know, there were some good ideas there, and if you disconnect Picard from the Star Trek universe, if that wasn't Star Trek, it would have been a half decent sci-fi show. The problem is attaching Star Trek to it and saying that this is Jean-Luc Picard, this is the Federation, this is the Romulan Star Empire that fell apart when their one homeworld was destroyed after they colonized that world and had many different planets in the Romulan Star Empire. You can't tell me that one supernova destroys that entire empire and they can't up and just move to another planet. I mean, for God's sakes, the Tal Shiar had planets in the original lore that were completely disconnected from the Empire, from the Senate, that were strong fortifications for their military. You can't tell me that is the way that went down. And you can't tell me that the Federation would have been responsible for building a bunch of ships in order to evacuate an empire that was a threat not only to was a threat to the entire Alpha Quadrant. They can stand up to anybody. The Cardassians, the Romulans, the Tholians. They can stand up to anybody. So you're not selling me on that point. You're not selling me on the Federation allowing the creation of an entire clone army after they already had that episode with Data where they said he was a sentient being, even though he was an artificial life form. You're not telling me that. Like, there's so many things wrong with putting Picard into the Star Trek universe and telling me that that's Star Trek. It's not Star Trek. There's no.
They
educate.
They read the cliff notes. That's how they did it.
Yeah, that's what they did.
But
educate me a little bit here on the lore, I guess. Tal Shiar, I'm assuming that's a sect of Romulans.
Yeah, that's
They're like the super secret service.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
But
and-
then they came up with a secret Romulan police.
Right.
Yeah.
Only women on that one.
And they did absolutely
here's the
nothing with it.
and here's the thing, guys. If they see something going supernova, with the apparently what the new teleporter technology could do, they could have just teleported anybody anywhere with those suitcase teleporters that they now had. I mean, let's just. I mean, that is probably one of the most poignant things Doomcock presented at the very beginning of the problem with this whole thing.
And you're talking about the Romulans come from the Vulcan species. They were the ones who did not want to adopt the new ideology of logic, right? They wanted to remain, very emotional. But still, you're dealing with a very intelligent species, a spacefaring species that is very meticulous about everything they do. You're not telling me that not one Romulan scientist said, "Hey, this thing's about to go supernova," and they wouldn't make preparations. It's just the whole idea of it is nonsense to me. It's just nonsense. It's JJ universe repurposing nonsense. Oh God, I'm sorry. I'll go off on a tangent.
No, you're good. It's just we're coming down to it, and I want to wrap this up because Midnight's Edge has their Dune watch party coming up with a special guest that I think a lot of you will like to hear from. And other people are about to go live, and I want to give you all a chance to talk about your channel super fast before we say goodbye. And of course, everybody's channels is either in the description or will be there in the next few minutes. And I know that we've promoted, or at least I hope we've promoted Shellbach and author Stephen Walton. I mean, Tommy, my man, and Mando have been going to town on the promotion, so I appreciate that so much. It saves me from trying to figure out how to do it and when, because I try to lead the merry band of thieves here. So let's go ahead. We will start ladies first. AFK Bard, let's talk about you, your channel, and what you like. All right.
Oh, I like stuff, but no, you can find me on Twitter, and I have a YouTube channel, and I do some reviews for Stranger Things, and Zevius comes on. No, sorry, Mega Geek comes on, and Thomas sometimes. But yeah, we're in season 2, and the next 2 episodes are 3 and 4. And I don't know if you want to come. It's at 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on Tuesdays. It won't be this next week, but it'll be the next one. So if you want to join, you have plenty of time to binge watch.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. And if you haven't checked out the Stranger Things reviews that they're doing, they do a great job. And she does have some quality guests, because Ian is amazing when breaking down things, because of course he makes films, here on YouTube, so check that out. And then let's go ahead. Let's go to Shellbach. Shellbach was a short-termer here, so give him a chance to talk about it.
Well, I can be found here on YouTube and Twitter under Shellbach TJC. My content has been sporadic in my YouTube career so far, but my latest video or stream, actually, I guess, I was a little bit of a rant video or stream about just the crap that's going on in the world today, and so check that out. It's about 25 minutes long, and I don't know, who knows, maybe I'll do some more of those, because I don't know. It was kind of good to vent there a little bit on that. So yeah.
All right, fantastic. Thank you very much, Shell. And let's go ahead and do the most famous historian for the Fandom Menace, and maybe I think maybe the only historian for the Fandom Menace, author Stephen Walton.
You know what? Check out Ichibaka's Disney Star Wars is Dumb. Please subscribe to all these wonderful people on the panel. Please subscribe to the Memes of Destruction out there, Tommy and the Guinea Pig Collective. Subscribe to Sporky News Podcast, Lorena Creole, Jane Theory, Final Death Star, The Red Gaze, and K-Log. This Tuesday, we're changing the format of TR4. It's now Scott has got a family life. He's got to take care of business, so he's going to be moving on from that show. And in his place will be the Red Gaze. So TR4 on Tuesdays will now be the Rogue 4 and the Gaze. Looking forward to seeing that, getting a little more Comicsgate, outlooks into the show. Please check out Supreme Heretics channel on Thursdays at 9 p.m. We do the Pegasus actual podcast together. We do a retro review of Battlestar Galactica. And check out my channel on 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for Rogue Entertainment. Usually have a lot of discussion, a lot of good people. I'm planning on doing some more live streams with the Fourth Wave community, some of the wonderful people on this panel and in the chat. Do some more live streams, get some exposure for everybody. Please try to support everyone. Support your favorite YouTubers. Make sure you're still subscribed. Remember to like, comment, and share those people that you really appreciate and adore. We can't be on every channel. We can't watch every live stream. We can't do that. So pick out those people that you really enjoy and try to help promote them. We rise together. I am author Stephen Walton, the Fandom Menace historian, your historian, born in the chats of the High Council with my brothers and sisters, fighting for our modern mythologies. Wash your hands, wash your ass, be good to each other. Peace.
This announcement has been brought to you by Walton's Best Brew. Pick up your supply today.
I'm not
All
sure
right,
how to
and now, I don't know how you follow that, Wes, but give it a try, my man.
I am Wes Moody of the Wes Moody Webcast. You can find me at youtube.com/Wes Moody Webcast. I talk about current events, pop culture, occasional conspiracy theories, occasional card talk, and I also vlog about whatever the heck I want to because it is my webcast. We are hoping to get Brie Larson to collab with us. We've almost had success. Maybe we will. So I'd be honored if you'd consider subscribing to the channel and subscribing to all these fine folks here on the panel and in the chat. Hope to see you there. See ya!
Well, I thank you, Wes. You did a fine job. I don't know how you follow Steven. Maybe I should put him last all the time. Then all I have to do is say bye.
Every time
anyway,
Wes's outro comes up, I know exactly what to expect. He does a great job.
I know. I love Wes.
Yeah.
Wes is one of those guys. And author Stephen Walton is correct, and Wes is correct, and everybody who said it is correct. Support the community, guys. We have so many great creators. I hope you're doing it. I say it at the end of every video now, and I promise that at least once a week I'm going to promote more and more of the fine people that you can find as part of the Fourth Wave, well, and even some previous waves. But I'm dedicated to getting everybody, including new creators, up and running and another voice on the platform to help defend our pop culture. So with that being said, I'm going to bring on somebody who I want to promote the growth of, and that is the Mirror Sphere Origins.
Hello, everyone. I'm on YouTube here. I'm also on geeksgamers.com. I'm also on Twitter and Facebook, all under the same name. The Mirror Sphere was mostly me, Daniel, your host, and I talk about books, TV shows, movies, what's going on. I'm doing my own novel, fantasy novel, so it's nothing like, I'm going to real quick show off a little bit of the artwork I had done. There's one, the characters.
Wow.
It's going to be on the cover of my book, and one of the creatures. Yeah.
Wow.
Very cool.
That's sweet.
Yeah, so those are going to be on the cover when the artist. Actually, also the artist is on Twitter. I found him. He's called Lord Pancake Sauce Every Butterworth. He's a
Awesome.
comic book artist, and I hired him to help me do the cover and some of the character art. So,
all right,
he did a good job.
That's awesome, man. So you're coming along pretty well on your story and everything else, right? You're getting there. Yeah. All right.
I posted earlier. I left in the chat the 3 first chapters of my book. We had some feedback, and so we're going back and re-editing just a little bit. But most of it's fully done, or not fully done, but we're editing right now. So we're about halfway through editing. So,
All right. Well, I'm looking forward to seeing it. You know, we've talked about it, you know, privately, so it's going to be awesome. I can't wait to read it. You know, because
dude,
I love that kind of stuff.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, and I have to tell you, you know what? Support our buddy Mando Merc. I've got to tell you, both channels Mando Merc is on is Cast in the Shadows and his own channel are just amazing. What a contributor to my channel and to other people's channels as well, and a great moderator. Almost, not quite, getting into the level where Tommy is. Please support Tommy and the Guinea Pig Collective, because let me tell you, great content. Just the toy videos alone, you know, will keep me there for hours. I'll rewatch them because I love that stuff. But check that out. And then, of course, our friend Makini90. I'm not going to do somebody else. I'm going to pronounce it properly. It's Makini90. Be sure to check out his designs right now. His shirts are amazing. He's done Steven. He's done Mary Mayhem now. Is that right?
Yep.
And Nina Infinity.
Yeah, Mika Makini90 has a wonderful array of T-shirts inspired by some of your favorite Phantom Menace creators, such as Fatal J, Mary Mayhem, Nina Infinity, and now Lorena Creole is another one he's working on. So please check out Teespring. Support Phantom Menace artists. Support artists in general. No matter what part of the fandom you're from, your view is important.
Yeah. And in Makini, I've seen the art. When I've been on panels with him, he's been on several channels now, and John Talks, etc. And boy, let me tell you, I can't wait. I'm going to have to commission Makini to do a shirt for me, because they are amazing looking. So. And with that, guys, I just want to say thank you for coming out today. We really appreciate your time. I am Culture Casino. I have a small YouTube channel. Hey, you're here. If you're not subscribed, subscribe. I hope you hit like during the video. And until next time, bye.
See ya.
Peace.